Wednesday. Thank you for joining me here tonight. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make lovely and quirky hand embroidery kits. And I'm here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. That's 9:30 Eastern and 6:30 Pacific. It's a time that we can relax and craft together and work on a project. And I work on projects from beginning to end, so you can be part of the whole process along the way. So thank you for joining me tonight. We are going to continue with the Triangle Tango Quilt from Missouri Star Quilt Co. Here we go. Here's what it's going to look like. And we are done with the first 4 rows. So we got 4 rows sewn together. We have all the rows, but we've combined 4 of those into like the first part of the quilt. So I'm going to show you guys that here again. So yesterday we were able to get all 4 of these rows. So I believe we have 14 rows total. So we will make 3 groupings of these rows of 4, and then we'll have a grouping of 2, and then we'll sew all of those groups together. So I'm going to start again from scratch tonight with a row. So we'll just be sewing a row to another row, and hopefully we can do that more than once. So we'll have 2 sets of 2 ready for sewing together tomorrow. That's the plan. So awesome, you guys. We have to press the seam allowances, so we press them in opposite directions so we can nest them together, and then we will clip and sew. So thank you again for joining me here tonight. I'm going to flip you around and we'll get started. All right. So I'm just so happy with how this is going. I mean, it's actually finally starting to feel like it's a project that's coming along, right? You know, these quilts, it took me a long time to start quilting or like getting into the quilt kind of as a craft, just because it is just a lot of small little bits until, you know, all of a sudden it's a project. And I typically like, you know, quick, easy, fun projects. That's why I like embroidery. So it took me a little bit of time to get used to the pacing of a quilt. But now I kind of break it down into steps. Like each step is like a little win, basically. But yeah, once it starts to look like a quilt, that's a huge step, I think. So I'm glad we're spending some time working on these rows. And you guys, so it was the last day of my giveaway today for the big cone of embroidery floss here. So I've picked a winner and I've spoken to the winner already. So if that wasn't you, then I will be having some more giveaways in the future. So you'll have a chance to win those. So I did already talk to the winner though. But tomorrow I will be putting a bunch of cones up in the shop for pre-order, because I'm going to be placing an order with DMC to get a whole pile more of the cones. So I thought, why not see if you guys wanted in on that too. So I put the colors that I'll be getting up in the shop. I'm going to put them up tonight. So when we're done here tonight, you know, give me 10 minutes and they will be up. But I'll also be sending an email out about it tomorrow morning. But if you don't like any of the colors that I have posted, then you can actually pick your own color as well. So if there's a DMC floss that you just love and you know you want, and you know the color name for it. So by the color name, I mean the number. So, you know, each floss comes with a number, and that'll be on the big part of the label if you're looking at a skein. It's like a 3 or 4 digit number. So if you just tell me what that number is, there's there'll be a custom listing. So if you do that and then say what number you want, I will get that color cone for you. So anyway, since I'm ordering these cones anyway, I thought I'd see if any of you guys wanted to get a cone of embroidery floss. And I probably actually won't be ordering again for a long time because they're kind of, DMC is changing the way that they're doing how I can order. So I'm not going to have as much of an opportunity to order the cones anymore. So I'm kind of stocking up. So this might be the only time I do this cone thing. So if it's in the back of your head to get one of these cones of floss, it'll, now is the time. And I'm gonna place the order on Tuesday. So the sale, the pre-order time will go through Monday. So starting tonight and through Monday. So there's a little bit of time if you wanted to decide on a color or that sort of thing, like over the weekend. I will have a link though also to the DMC website where you can see all of the colors. It'll just be on a computer screen, obviously. So if you have a chance to get to Joann's or something like that, where you can see the colors in person, that's always a good thing. All right, first one done. All right, so this is row 10. Okay, so that was the even row. I'm gonna shush that to the side and let's get row 9. So this, I'm still gonna press the seams downward, but I'm gonna flip it. So I'm doing it in the opposite direction. All right, let's shimmy this up here. All right. I'm also just kind of getting these. We haven't ironed these blocks at all yet, so I'm instead of only hitting these seams, I am trying to press the squares too. I think now that I'm like getting going on this, I think it's all going a little bit faster. I mean, clipping the seams together with the Wonder Clips, that's probably the part that takes the longest, and then sewing doesn't take long. I'm actually kind of enjoying the ironing of this though. Maybe this height just works really well for me. That could be. Maybe I've never been pressing like right in front of me at the right height, but like right now it feels good. Like I don't mind pressing, and that's usually one of my, besides cutting, it's usually my least favorite part of the process, but I'm actually kind of enjoying it. That's bizarre. Ooh, I sewed a seam open here by accident, so oh well. It's going to be pressed how it's going to be pressed. Ooh, this one needs to be squished down, it looks like. There we go. Oh, side Alyssa, you'd be perfect. Oh, for TikTok, you guys, I literally just posted a TikTok today. So I am aware of the TikToks. I haven't quite figured out what I'm gonna do there or whatever. But there is a penguin and fish TikTok. It's pretty barren right now, but I did post today. If you guys have been noticing, I've been doing little animated GIFs in the evenings, just because I'm so tired, but I want to still do something. So just doodling on my iPad and watching TV. That's kind of what I've been doing just to chill in the evenings. But I've actually been drawing, so that's been productive. But now on the iPad, you can make with this drawing program, Procreate, you can make little GIFs. So I started drawing in the evenings, and I've been posting them. I just did like 3, one for each of the past 3 evenings, but I've been posting them to my Instagram. But today I also posted kind of a how-to of how I did tonight. I did one tonight already. I did a how-to on TikTok. So if you do have TikTok, I am Penguin and Fish on TikTok. But yes, I know, Gretchen, I'm so with you. Like if you turn on TikTok, you've lost an hour. Psh, easy. Lost an hour. And you'll also find out all these trends that all these little kids know that, you never knew about. Robin, it is a newish app. It's like a social media app, and all the kids are there. All the teenagers are there, sort of thing. But it's just kind of, it used to be, I don't know if you guys who are familiar with TikTok, it used to be called Musical.ly, and you could do like little music videos almost, like you can put music on in the background. They have a whole list of little clips of music, and then you can, do video of yourself or whatever on top of that music, but you can make yourself, you can make it in like slow motion or sped up, and you can edit it like all really easily. So you can make these things that look like music videos, but it's just so goofy because a trend will start on there, and then everyone else will start doing that trend. It is absurd, and I don't know. I just feel like, and not everything is probably to everyone's taste or whatever, but I just love it because, all these kids are on, and it is, that's a whole issue, Kathy. It is owned by China, so it's a big kind of question mark about what that's all about. But it's exciting to me just seeing like all these kids and just people do these creative things. Like I just feel like here's people being creative. And even if that creativity is just like lip syncing to a song and doing some goofy transition or whatever, it is still someone taking the act of trying to be creative and putting it out there. And I just love that. Even if, not all of it might be to everyone's taste or anything like that, it is still, I just think I get excited about all the kids, of this time that have like that ability to make these things. And, if TikTok and Instagram and all that and all this video stuff was around when I was little, dang, me and my neighbors and us and my brothers would, me and our neighbors, we always made like videos and stuff together. But with the VHS camera, if we had that today, we would be doing all sorts of stuff on TikTok. Probably embarrassingly so. But anyway, so I'm excited to see all these like kids on it being creative and doing stuff. So it is pretty early in the adaptation of like, people getting on TikTok, that sort of thing. But you really can lose an hour like nothing. Just watching, watching people dancing and watching, 8 people do the exact same dance to the exact same song. Like, it sounds so silly, but it really is addicting, and you will very much waste an hour very quickly. But Gretchen, I kind of love it too. I don't kind of love it, I do love it. But I get scared putting it on because I know I'm going to waste a whole hour. Like, it's hard to not waste an hour, so I have to, I'm wary of pushing the app, turning on the app. But it's just fun, and it's just a showing of creativity, or, I don't know. It makes me excited for all the kids who are, teenagers and younger and stuff now. It'll be neat to see, what happens 10 years from now with all these people doing creative stuff. You lose an hour walking around the craft store, that's the truth. More so standing in line at the craft store. That's where time gets wasted. Yeah, so I'd love to do more on TikTok, so I don't quite know what that means yet. So if you have any ideas on what I should be doing on TikTok, because I'm not going to be doing any dancing to any songs. So we'll see. But I will, I'll be sure to share. Share when I got some new TikTok up there. Oh, Gretchen, I hear you. She's, Gretchen's pre-cutting, or she's cutting 10-inch squares, kind of how I did for a portion of this. And now she appreciates pre-cut layer cakes. No kidding. After I cut all these 10-inch squares for this, just to basically make a layer cake, my own layer cake. Yeah, that took longer. I wanted to get started right away, you know, but I was sitting there cutting. A layer cake is just a stack of fabric that's already pre-cut into 10-inch squares. It's one of what people call pre-cuts. That's one of the common sizes is a layer cake, which is 10-inch squares. And usually it's like a whole collection. Fabric companies like releasing it to show off their collections. So like a charm pack, those are like 2.5-inch squares, right? Or there's a 5-inch square one. I get those two confused. They all have, you know, cutesy names. Oh yeah, so that's what I was thinking, Gretchen. I could do some embroidery and show like doing like embroidery progress or how to do stitches or something. That could be a good idea. How to do stitches on TikTok. I just haven't embroidered in a while. Well, except for with you guys on here, but I'm doing that on Facebook. So I need like 2 embroideries going. One that I can do little TikToks with, and I don't know. But yeah, I think that'd be fun. Oh, when the edges are pinked on a layer cake, do you measure it? Oh, that's a good question. I am not sure, Kathy. I would just measure it, see what they did if they cut it on the edge. Like, is it from the top pinking? You know, like the most edges, like the farthest most edge. Is that the 10 inches, or is the 10 inches on the inside of those pinking shears? That would be a good thing to know. Yeah, when you get a layer cake, I would measure before you start sewing, just so you know. And then you'll know, you know, it's probably different for every company, but then you'll know, okay, I got to go towards the inside or the outside of these things. Okay, so the charm pack is the 2.5 squares. What's the 5-inch pre-cuts called? Other pre-cuts are like a jelly roll. Those are the width of the fabric, but only 2.5 inches wide. So those are really long strips. But the nice thing is that for these pre-cuts, they typically like go together really well. And designers design specifically for pre-cuts a lot of times just to make it extra easy. Okay, just double checking. I should have double checked before. So 9 is on top and then 10. Okay, good. That should have been checked before I started pinning, but oh well. All right, let's get cruising here. Oh, Tula Pink releases her line after the first of the year. Yeah, so I'm guessing there'll be all sorts of pre-cuts for Tula Pink. Fat Quarters is a pre-cut. Oh, the 5.5. Oh, it's not 5 inches. It's 5. Is it 5.5 inches or 5 inches? I can't remember. Oh, so those are the charm packs. What are the little baby ones then? So the 5. Is it 5 inch or 5.5? I can't remember. Okay, so it's the 5 or 5.5 inch ones. I forget what. That's the charm pack. Then there's jelly roll. Oh, mini charm pack. Oh, you guys, you know what? I think I have I think in my, nope, not in here, my Missouri Star Quilt Co. Thing, I think I actually have a little chart. Oh, maybe I put it in here. So I think I got a chart from them. Oh yeah, right here. Common pre-cuts, here we go. So 1.5 inch strips. So a strip is the width of the fabric, which is, 40 to 42 inches. So that's a honey bun. 2.5 inch strips are a jelly roll. Oh yeah, here we go. 2.5 inch squares. That is a mini charm pack. And again, these are typically a whole collection. All right, then we got the 5 inch squares is a charm pack. 10 inch is a layer cake, and then you got the fat quarters. And a fat quarter is a yard cut in half both ways. So it's like 18 inches by 22 inches approximately, 21 or 22 inches. So there you go, common pre-cuts. I got this was part of little postcard I got when I was at the Missouri Star Quilt Co. I knew I had something about that. And within arm's reach, that's handy. But yeah, it's basically a ploy by the fabric manufacturers to sell more fabric. And then designers make it easy for people too, because they a lot of designers design for those sizes. Like for example, this was meant to be made with a layer cake, 10 inch squares. I didn't have an actual layer cake, so I had to cut them myself, cut my own 10 inch squares. But this would have been a perfect quilt for, a stack of pre-cuts. And it's fun to buy those because it does represent the whole collection. So, yeah, like I was saying, a pre-cut, like if I got a layer cake, it could be like 36 or something different fabrics, and they'd probably all be different, or almost all of them different, because it would be representing a whole collection of fabric. That's not all the time. You can get like just solid colors or like all one layer cake. It's kind of whatever the fabric company wants to manufacture. It's a ploy that works. Exactly, Nora. I mean, convenience is always going to win, right? So, making it convenient and things are pre-cut already and you can just start sewing. Yep, I subscribe to that idea. Oh, yours is 42 pieces. So I think it can vary how many pieces are actually in any of these, pre-cut stacks. But the price will reflect it. Like, a layer cake with 42 pieces is going to cost more than one with, 32 pieces. It probably depends on the manufacturer and the collection, whatever they want to do. And I'm sure every manufacturer does it a little bit differently. Oh, you have so many charm packs. The problem with these pre-cuts, you want to just keep buying them because they're so freaking cute. Like a little stack of fabric that's all pre-cut is so dang cute. But it's that same situation of like my bins of fabric. You make something out of it and it's like you haven't even scratched the surface. So like this would have only been 2 layer cakes, this whole entire queen size quilt, and that's a 10 inch square. A layer cake's probably about that tall. So it would have been just like 2 squares this big, that tall, so I'm only using, like, it's like nothing. But when you lay it all flat in a quilt, that fabric goes a long, crazy way. Oh, but they're so beautiful. I actually I've talked about this before, but I, for years, like a decade, had a problem cutting into any of the pre-cut. So I still love, but I'm trying to not buy as much fabric, but I love the fat quarter bundles, where you get a whole sense of the repeat of the pattern. Like I like seeing the big kind of panel of the pattern, but I would just let them sit in a perfect little tied up bundle on my shelf because they are so pretty, just as a blotch of rainbow of colors on your shelf. Like, But I've gotten over that a little bit, and the way that I've gotten over that, I don't know, do you guys ever do that? Just don't cut into your fabric because it's too pretty, just sitting there as fabric. But what kind of got me over that idea is now I feel like, okay, I'm honoring you, fabric, by using it. So taking it off my shelf and actually cutting into it and sewing it into something, I feel like I'm honoring that stack of fabric by using it, and that feels really good when I think about it that way, when I start cutting into it. So that's what got me over having it all just stay pretty on the shelf. Oh, you have some penguin and fish fat quarters that you haven't opened. Oh, that's awesome, Lucy. That's funny. But yeah, I hear ya. It's a new feeling for me to start cutting into fabric. And you know what? It's really because we're doing these Facebook Lives now. It's an opportunity to, honor the fabric. I get to actually use it, and I'm making it into quilts and stuff, and I don't know. I'm excited about cutting into fabric now. Even though it does look pretty on my shelf, too. Oh, you have some Amy Snibaldi fabric that is waiting for the perfect project. So one of these, is this, I can't remember, I wrote it down, but I don't have it near me. I have two fabric collections in this, but one is just one fabric, and I think that one's the Amy. Didn't Amy Snibaldi do one of these fabrics, the one with the little horsies, or is she the one that does these moon ones? I forget. I think it might be the little cute horsies. I can't remember. Actually, I might have a link in here to both collections if I remember right. All right, we are at the end of this first row, so now I gotta iron some more, which surprisingly has been kind of fun. I usually don't really like the ironing part. All right, I'm gonna get another leader here. If you haven't seen what I'm doing with leaders, so leaders are leaders and enders. People can call them different things sometimes, but that's just a little piece of fabric that I stick in the end here, so I don't have to pull out lots of little threads. It just leaves like a small little bit that I can just snip off. So instead of just taking it off the machine here, I'm putting another piece of fabric. But instead of just doing a piece of scrap fabric, I'm actually sewing two pieces of fabric together. This is recycled blanket and a goofy Hawaiian shirt. But I'm sewing them on the diagonal on either side of the diagonal. So once I cut down the diagonal, I will have two sewn half square triangles. So when a square is cut in half like this, made out of two triangles, it's called a half square triangle. It's a quilt unit. And so I've just been, instead of, just using scrap, I'm actually making it into something. So that just gets me excited. So there we go. So now I don't have like long threads hanging from here either. All right, done with row number 1 tonight. I definitely want to get another one of these done. I really want to crank out this top. So we have our first grouping of 4 right there. We finished that last night. So, let's get this top leader off. All right, I'm going to set this whole thing to the side now. This is row 9 and 10. I'm leaving the labels on so I know the order. So this set of 2, I'm going to set it aside, and then I'm going to do the next set of 2. All right, get this out again. So we are on 8 and 7. Man, this is a lifesaver having marked these rows, number these rows. I don't know how I would have done this without doing that. it's worked great. And these Wonder Clips have really held on to that number well. All right, now we get to chill and press again. Like I said, this is usually one of my least favorite parts, but it's been fun. Oh, maybe that's where I'm thinking of her name. She did one of the didn't she? Yeah, she did a Splendid Sampler block. Fun. Oh, I have that other fabric collection that I got when I went to Missouri Star Quilt Company, which is where I got the Quilt Co, where I got this fabric for this quilt and this pattern. But it's the Dandelion. That's what it's called, right? The Dandelion fabric collection. Oh, I gotta figure out what to do with that because that's just gonna be pretty fabric sitting on the shelf for a while too. So I wanna make that into something before it ends up sitting on my shelf for a decade because it's too pretty. Gotta honor that fabric somehow. Oh, it's a cute teddy bear tucked into the bed. That was her block. Oh, you're gonna try and do the leader ender? Oh, that's awesome, Robin. I just love it. So tomorrow, it's not near me, like I'd have to go over and get it, but tomorrow I'll show you my progress with that quilt. That I just call like a magic quilt because, you know, I'm getting blocks out of doing nothing. It's just the end of sewing a row. Something that, you know, I would have just used a piece of scrap. It would have been nothing, and all of a sudden, it's getting sewn into like a whole quilt. And my mom actually, remember my brother was in town and he sewed that really cool improv pieced quilt. I think he and my mom started using leaders like this too to make half square triangles, and she ended up with a whole quilt. So she already has a whole quilt done out of just these little leaders, which is crazy, and it just looks so cool. Just scrap fabric. I'm using old clothing for mine that for some reason I felt the need to keep in a bin, and I've just been cutting that up into squares. So that's been fun. It's actually probably almost time to cut some more. I'm almost out of squares. I'll use some more up, doing all these rows. All right, this one didn't take long at all to press. So now we just have to clip it together. That's kind of what takes time. Ooh, gosh, this one I sewed open on accident too. Oh well. Oh, that's right. So that's right. We did. We decided where all these separate blocks would go, and you know we have to rotate them all a special way. I did that at my parents' house. Oh, I just did one here. I gotta do a whole other one. I did it at my parents' house, and my brother helped, one of my brothers, and my husband and my dad all came down and helped lay this out. That was fun. That's tough. You gotta lay it all out on the floor, decide where they're gonna go, and I'm not really, I kind of have a limited amount of fabrics here. I think I'm only using like maybe 6 different fabrics, or it's not a lot. So I didn't want any of them to touch, so I had to, you know, whenever one would touch, I'd have to find a different spot, and then it couldn't touch that one. Like I didn't want the same fabric to be next to each other, basically. I don't know if we actually accomplished that. I think we did. We'll have to see once this is all kind of laid out. And then I had to pick them all up off the ground, and there's like over 100 blocks, so that was quite the time laying this all out. And that's tough because you're on the ground and moving around and stuff, so I think that was one of the reasons why I'm like, let's see if I can just press this and sew this without having to get on the ground again. And so far it's working really well, just sewing or just pressing this here. I didn't have to get my big ironing board out or anything. So I'm happy about that. Almost done with this guy. Then we'll have 2 more to clip together. We'll sew that. And then we'll have 2 more sets of 2 that we can sew together for 4. Maybe we'll even have time to clip them together tonight. That'd be awesome. Then tomorrow we can just sew and probably get another 2 sets of 2. Ooh, we are going to have this by mid next week. We are going to have this quilt top done, I think. And next week. That's maybe pushing it. Let's call it next week. By the end of next week, I think we'll have a finished quilt top here. Then we're opening a whole other can of worms. I don't know if I'll probably stop at that point for a little while again. I'm pretty sure I don't have enough batting for a whole quilt. So I'll have to get some batting, and we'll figure out what we want to do for the back. But yeah, so we'll probably put pause on this again after the quilt top's done, but I really wanted the quilt top to get done. So I think by next week we will be wrapped up on that, which is exciting. It's like the project's almost done. All right, now we have row 7 and row 8, so 7 on top. Here is row 8. I've labeled it all on the left side, the upper left, so I always know what's top and bottom. And even on these numbers, I put a line underneath the ones that, if they got flipped upside down, would still be in number 8. All right, okay, top to bottom, yep. And I'm just nesting those seams again. Exactly, Robin. So to help me make it a habit using the leaders, one thing that's really helped is I just have this little basket near me with, the trick is making it as easy as possible. These are finished ones, so these ones I have to actually trim and press. But I have just a little basket with the squares all ready to go, cut up, and I have this stack is the light colors, and these are the kind of the dark, at least dark compared to the lights, and that's kind of the formula I'm using, which is kind of typical for a half square triangle. A lot of times one side will be the light side and one side will be a darker side. So all my cut up shirts and stuff that are kind of darker, these are kind of my whites or my lights, just this green polka dot, which apparently I have tons of. I already have it pre-organized, and then I can just grab. And this little basket just sits here. And then once it gets too full of the finished ones, or the sewn ones, I will stop for a little, take an evening, and cut these and trim these up so they can be sewn together. But that's kind of, what helps make it a habit, at least for me, is that, I gotta scooch this down, is that it's just there and ready to go. I don't have to really think about it. Oh, yes, finishing will definitely be nice for this. This was that random project that I kind of feel bad of even starting, because I have so many projects, and projects that, like planned projects that I want to do, or projects that I've been talking about here for a while, but then, I got seduced by some fabric and seduced by a project and had to work on it right away. So that's what we did. This was not a planned project. So I almost feel guilty that it exists. So it feels good to move it along a little bit. I'm so excited about it still, though. it was so easy and fun. I could definitely see making it again. I like the idea of trying to end up with smaller blocks. Like, we started out with 10-inch squares for this. Like, what would happen if we started out with like 5-inch squares? Like, with these being half the size would be really pretty still. Yep. Every once in a while, you just need to throw in a new project just to stay excited and just to not feel like suppressed, really, right? But I do kind of make an effort, which I didn't always, but now, you know, with the Finish It Fridays, I make an effort to revamp those old projects again. Like, let's get an old project out and put another hour in it. That's why I do the Finish It Fridays, and that's when I take the first Friday of the month. In the evenings here, we grab a project that we haven't worked on in a while and put another hour into it. And it's a lot of times like this, it ends up being what we work on for a couple more days because I don't want to put it down yet. Like it was in this case, and some of the other cases too. Oh, I haven't heard of that, Linda. I was thinking about how I'm going to baste this today, though. Because remember yesterday I mentioned, oh, it could be fun flipping it on the back and quilting from the back, because then I can see the whole like motif, like if we do a big kind of fancy motif. But now I'm thinking, well, if I do that, all my pins will be upside down. My basting pins, and they'll be really difficult to take out. And I don't want to baste it upside down because I want to make sure that the top layer is stretched out or like laying flat. So I have a little question mark over my head for that. We could, this might be an opportunity to try a different type of basting. I'm still really wary of spray basting. Just, I don't know. The idea of just like spraying an aerosol thing in my house just kind of freaks me out. I can't do it outside anymore. It is way too cold for that. Woke up with snow outside too. But we could maybe, I don't even know where I'd find this. I was going to say we could maybe try the pool noodle method, but where am I going to find pool noodles anymore? And actually my table's not really big enough for that anyway. So I don't know. Maybe we'll end up just, I mean, we could stitch baste it, but I don't really want to do that. Like true basting with needle and thread. And basting, if you're curious, that's just the act of temporarily holding pieces of fabric together. So in this case, we're going to have the top of the quilt, the batting, which is the fluffy inside of the quilt, and then the bottom of the quilt fabric. We need to hold those three things together so they don't move around while we sew. So the act of holding them together is called basting, and there's all different ways to do that. They make special curved safety pins that work. That's what I typically do. And all those safety pins just hold it together and you take them out as you sew the three layers together. But there's other ways, like you can stitch the three together. There's spray basting where it's like an aerosol that you spray on it and then it just sticks. I've never done that before, but I know people love, love, love spray basting. Oh, you have pool noodles that you try to use to baste, but I'm too uncoordinated and it didn't work for me that time. Yeah, I've never done it before. I've only seen it. My mom talked about it for a little while. I wonder if she ended up getting some pool noodles. Maybe we'll just have to, if she did, maybe I'll just wait till we visit again to base this, and then maybe we'll try the pool noodle, which still doesn't solve my problem of, well, maybe it would, of having my safety pins on the bottom instead of the top. I don't know. The conundrum in my brain of the day. I'm sure it'll all work itself out. All right, we are ready to sew these two guys together. Oh, I could get the, oh yeah, that's right, pipe insulation. That's like the same thing as a pool noodle, you're right. That would work. Oh, you use spray-based, use spray-based and use pins sparingly. Oh, you've never had a problem. So Patty, how do you, like, where? Do you just spray based in your house? Like, does the spray go everywhere? I'm confused on how that kind of functions. You know, because I'm thinking it's like spray painting in your house. But obviously it probably can't be like that, huh? I should just probably watch a YouTube on it or something. But yeah, I've never done that, and you know, I like trying new things here, so you know, that would be an opportunity to try something new. Chance to learn something. And I like that. So the machine seems to be, like, just as an update, seems to be working just fine still. You know, we had that problem with, and we still have that problem, of the feed dogs. If, like, there's too much pressure on them, they'll get pushed down. Like, if I have the pressure on full of my presser foot, it pushes them down too much. Or if I get a really big seam, it pushes it down. But I lightened up on the presser foot, like, tension. And that's, I mean, it seems to be working so far. So as long as I didn't check tonight, but I should just check every day that I have it pushed up all the way. Okay, so spray outside only takes a few minutes. That's the problem. Therein lies the problem, Lucy, because it's like 20 some degrees out right now, and oh my god, I don't know. I just don't see that happening. Oh, that's a fair weather situation. Oh yeah, you could pin the fabric to the insulation to start. Oh, that's cool. Oh, it's like spray start and that you can control the spray. Oh, okay. You prefer outdoors, but have guardedly can do it in your house. Okay. Oh, there is problem number 2. I don't think I have any floor space big enough that I'll be able to lay this out. Oh, how am I gonna pin this together? That's the problem with doing big quilts in a small house. Oh, we cleaned up the basement a little. Maybe I can lay it down in the basement, but even that, I don't think it's wide enough. It might just have to wait till I visit my parents again. Then I can lay it on their big floor. You know, the other thing I could do is bring it over to the warehouse, the Penguin and Fish like office warehouse-y area, and in the warehouse I'd have a big cement area that I could do it. That, you know what? That's actually not a bad idea. Maybe I'll bring this to the office and do at some point. Oh, a church or school, that's a good idea too. Yeah, I should probably check the feed dogs again. I don't think that's what my, you know, it was loose on the top there, but I think it's just because it's on the bias, and I didn't do a great job at precision. Like, I wasn't paying attention so much in the precision of sewing these blocks together, so I probably stretched out some of the bias a little bit. But it still seems to be pulling really well. Oh, that's true. The Y might have a room. That would that would be interesting to do it at the Y and see what the ladies there have to say about me spreading out a quilt there. That'd be actually kind of fun. I'd be curious just to see what would happen basting a quilt in a public space. Oh man, I might have to find out if they have little rooms that you can check out. I know they have rooms that you can see in and stuff, but it seems like more like kids after school programs and that sort of thing. Yep, so go for a swim and then sandwich a quilt. There's a workout combo for you. Exactly, Gretchen. Like, what I'm curious about is if any quilters would come out of the woodwork there. That would be kind of neat to meet some other quilters or makers there. It'd be like a homing meeting for quilters, maybe. That'd be fun. That's where my curiosity comes in. Like, ooh, who would come over and talk to me? All right. There is the leader again, which is again another seam in my half-square triangle quilt. All right, so let's just shimmy this up so I can cut that other leader off. And you know what? I think we don't have that much more time tonight, but let's go ahead and I won't sew anymore tonight, but let's go ahead and try and these are already pressed, so let's try and just clip these two rows together because I want to just get sewing right away tomorrow. That would be awesome. So let's see. Okay, so this is the 7 and the 8. I'm going to kind of open it up to make it a little easier. Ugh, there's so much. These rows are so long. Okay, so that's 7 and 8, and then we also have 9 and 10. Ugh, this is where it starts getting a bit low on space. So just, okay, 9 and 10, just getting them in the right order, and I'm gonna unfold these layers as well. Already fell on the floor. Come on, there we go. Okay, spread that out, and 7 and 8 get flipped onto 9 and 10, and now we can get the wonder clips out. Now we're just clipping just like before, except for it's just way bulkier. Okay, so here we go. Yeah, we're still, the seams are in, the seams will nest still. All right. I've been doing on the nested seam and then in the middle. So I'm just getting that front part. Yay, but this is going to be the second group of 4. There's only one more group of 4 to do after this then. So we'll have 12 at that point, 12 rows. And then 2 more will be the 14 rows. So then we'll have 3 sets of 4 rows and 1 set of 2 rows. So like 4 objects total, basically. And so we have to just sew those together. That's going to get real bulky. But after that, we are done. Done with the quilt top. I mean, besides pressing, I suppose. I probably won't press it until I'm ready to sandwich it together. Because I'll have to press it then anyway, and why do it twice? Oh, I'm excited. This will be all ready to go for tomorrow. Oh yeah, and just a reminder, again, you guys, when I'm done here tonight, I will turn on all of those listings for the cone, the cone of floss, the giant cones of floss, to pre-order, you know, the colors that I have, that I picked out, or again, you can get a custom color, or just pick your own DMC color. I will put all of those live tonight yet, but I'll be sending an email out announcing it tomorrow morning, just as a reminder. And it's only going to go till Monday. And then after Monday, I'll be placing the order through DMC. So it'll take a couple weeks, maybe even over a month to get the cones. I'm hoping not much more than that, because you know I'm gonna be placing the order with DMC, and then they have to pull all the thread, and they'll let me know if it's all in stock, or you know, if we have to wait, or if there's an alternative color. And if that's the case, I will definitely contact you. But yeah, so there's some back and forth there, and I gotta wait for that order to come in, and then I'll ship it out right when I get them in. Oh, that's what I do, Barbara. Oh, I'm gonna have to look at how you guys are saying, because I would love to find a different solution to that too. And I know that the pool noodle is a way that gets you off the ground, but don't we need kind of a big table for the pool noodle way of doing it? I suppose I can put the extra. It's still not going to be as big as my quilt though. You don't need a pool noodle as long as your quilt, do you? I'm gonna have to look into that again. I forget how. I've just seen videos of people doing the pool noodle method. But what about a big quilt? I have seen, you know, this would be an option for us to try. I have an older quilting book, and that just has you laid on a table, like a small table like this, and you just kind of center it. You kind of fold on the edge so you know what the center is, and then you just pin on the center, and you pin that area, then you scooch the whole thing. Maybe that's what we should do, just to give that a go. Just do it on my table right here and see what happens. Let it drape over the edges, clip it in the middle, and then just start clipping it more and more. That might be an option. We will have to see. Oh, you do it on a banquet table and sit down. Okay, see, so that would be nice. Oh, you use duct tape to tape 2 pool noodles together. Okay, so you do get a really long one then. That should work when you start in the middle. Yeah, I might try that because it's a good limited space way of doing it. And, you know, lately with this quilt, I've been kind of testing the small space, like, you know, like today, like, can I press and clip these together in a small space? And that seems to be working, you know, just fine. I'm not on the floor now, which is awesome, which I normally would be. So yeah, if I could do a small space alternative, so it might be the draping it over the table. Oh, that's how you do the small quilts, just drape over the dining room table loosely. Okay, man, you know what? I think that might be my plan. That might be just a continuation of this small space experiment. See how that goes. So it's just kind of a matter of finding the centers, really, right? And you can just do that by folding it in half both ways, kind of pressing. We'll see how that goes. But all right, that's where my brain's sitting right now for that. It'd be worth a try to just, even if it totally fails, it'll be interesting to see, see how it goes. Almost there. Then I'm going to just let this sit tonight, and we will, we're all clipped and ready to start sewing tomorrow. So I suspect we'll be able to sew this and get 2 more rows done for the next set of 4. That would be great. Yeah, man, by Friday, yeah, tomorrow's Thursday. By Friday, we might have all our segments done. Man, maybe we will be done by midweek next week. That would be cool. Just trying to manage time in my head. Oh, okay, then you move. Okay, Catherine, I like that. I might have some clips like that. All right, we have our rows ready. So this is 7 through 10. So 7, 8, 9, 10, all ready to go. So tomorrow we will start there. Let this sit. All right, you guys, I'm gonna flip you around and we'll call it an evening.